Hi everybody, this is Courtney and I'm Fiber Fox Studios. Welcome to Mosaic Monday. Today we're going to be working on this cute pattern right here. I will link the chart for this pattern in the Etsy shop down below in the description along with project ideas. I have a flat swatch and then I have my in the round sample this time. And for my in the round, I actually made a slouchy hat using this design. We're working in a multiple of 14, so that makes it a little bit easier to use those smaller multiples to turn them into hats. And I use size 1 yarn on my in the round sample. I chained 98 chains, forming a ring. We're making a big tube here. That's how we're working our in the round. So I did 98, formed my ring, and then I worked bottom up on this particular hat. And then I just did a rapid decrease at the very top to close it on out. Very, very simple. Just hit me up in the comments with any questions you have about making the hat. But if you've ever made a hat before, I'm sure you guys can master this one. So if you're going to be working in the round, you're going to follow the repeats only in the video. Row ends don't matter to you. Only the repeat stitches that I list out and do the recap on is what you need to work when you're working in the round. When you're working flat, you are going to need those border stitches so that we have our edges. This particular design today is a multiple of 14 plus 3. And project ideas, along with the yarn that I've used here on this sample, and any other information that I think you guys would need or general questions that are asked, I have those, all that information. All that's down there in that description to make things as easy as possible for you to follow along with me. So please grab at least 2 colors of yarn and we're going to get started. We're going to begin working in color A. So for me, color A is going to be the peach tone yarn. My color B is going to be this really pretty gray tone yarn. Over here on my in the round sample, color A, the color we began with. And that's the Dream Color by Hobby. It's 100% wool. This is called Mystery Forest for the color, but the actual color number is 81. And color B is Amazing Lace in Turquoise Shell for that color. So I did use lace weight on this one to make this particular hat. And let's get started on our tutorial. So we begin by chaining in the multiple of 14 over and over. And then if you were going to work flat, you were going to add 3 chains to that count. If you're working in the round, you are just going to chain in the multiple of 14. And then you will slip stitch to that very first chain that you made and begin working in that same stitch with the repeats given in the video. For all of us working flat, like I'm going to do here in the video, get that starting chain ready. Multiples of 14 over and over, add 3 to the end, and then come back for row number 1. Row 1 begins now. We're going to be skipping this very first chain, moving here into the second chain to do our traditional single crochet. So that just means we're going under that V completely, and we single crochet. Now the repeat for row 1 is very simple. We're just going to be working a back loop only single crochet in all of our stitches. So that means you pick up one side of the stitch and you just single crochet like normal from there. During the rest of this tutorial, I'll be referring to these as single crochets, and you will know that when we're working our repeat stitches, you are always working in the back loop to do your single crochet. So continue on down your row and we'll meet back up at the end of the row so we can do the row in together. We are now here at the end of row 1 and all of our row ends will be worked exactly the same. Your repeat will end and you will find that you have 1 stitch left. And in that final stitch of every row, we are simply going to work a traditional single crochet in that stitch. That means we're working under that V, going completely in the stitch. And then we can finish off our single crochet like normal. And then I like to chain up 2 and clip my yarn to bind off. And we'll be working in color B for row 2 next. Here's what our work is going to look like after completing row 1. We have our first setup row done. So now we're going to be working on row 2. We're going to return here to the beginning of our row. And you want to make sure that you pay attention to this first stitch in the row. That's where we're going. Right here we have that turning chain. And we need to scoot that down out of the way and make sure we're not picking that up. We want to go into our first stitch. This is how we'll be joining on for all of our rows. So we go completely into the first stitch, and then you grab your color, which for this row is going to be color B, and then you just pull up that loop. I like to chain 1, and now I'm going to let my tail fall down out of the way, and I'm going to complete my traditional single crochet here. So we're going to go right here into that same stitch. So we're going right back in and finishing up. So now we're going to begin our repeat for row 2, which is exactly like row 1. We're going to be doing single crochets in each and every stitch. So we just pick up that back loop, one side of the stitch, and work all the way down the row in that same exact way. So once you're finished with this, you can meet back up with me for row 3. Remember, the final stitch, very last stitch, you'll do your traditional single crochet, just like we did for row 1. So we'll be back in just a moment. Row 3 begins now, and we're joining on with color A for this row. Row 3's repeat begins by doing 1 double crochet. So all of our double crochets are worked exactly the same. So you wrap your yarn, identify that very next stitch, and then we slide directly down 2 rows below, grabbing up that front loop that we left behind. And now we just grab our yarn and pull up a loop. And then we grab and pull through 2, grab and pull through 2. So from there, it's completely like any other normal double crochet. It's just our placement and how we come down here 2 rows below and pick up that front loop and use our double crochet to cover up the color on our previous row to create our shapes. So we're going to be working 3 single crochets next. Here's number 1. 2, and number 3. 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and number 3. And we will end our repeat by doing 1 double crochet. Okay, so that ends our repeat for row 3. So let's recap. Row 3's repeat began with 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, and we end with 1 double crochet. So you will start back over at the beginning of the repeat. So in this case, that's 1 double crochet. You'll begin working that same set of stitches over. So we do 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and number 3, 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And we end the repeat with 1 double crochet. And now last stitch in the row, traditional single crochet going completely into that stitch. And then bind off. So that is what you will have after you've completed 2 repeats of the design. You're going to keep working on down your row, and then we'll meet back up in just a moment for row number 4. We're moving on now to row 4, and you will be working in color B. Row 4's repeat begins by doing 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3, 1 double crochet, 2 single crochets, 1, and number 2, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet, and we'll end the repeat with 1 single crochet. So that ends our repeat for row 4. So let's recap what we've done. Row 4's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and we end with 1 single crochet. So you'll start back over at the beginning of the repeat and work that single crochet next and keep working that exact set of stitches over and over until you end your row. We'll be back for row 5 whenever you're ready. Row 5 begins now and we are working in color A. Row 5's repeat begins with 2 single crochets, there's 1 and number 2. 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets, 1 and number 2. 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet, and we will end the repeat by doing 2 single crochets. 1 and number 2. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row number 5's repeat began with a total of 2 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 2 double crochets, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and we end with 2 single crochets. So you will start back over with the 2 single crochets and keep working that exact set of stitches all the way down your row. We'll be back for row 6 whenever you're ready. Row 6 begins now and we are working in color B. Our repeat for row 6 begins with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and 1 single crochet will end our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row 6 repeat begins with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and we end with 1 single crochet. So make sure you start back over at the beginning of the repeat. Don't miss that single crochet and keep working on down your row. We'll be back when you are ready for row number 7. Row 7 begins now. We're working in color A. Row 7's repeat begins by doing 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Now we will do 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and number 3. And we'll end with 1 double crochet here in this next stitch. So that ends the repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row number 7's repeat began with 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 6 double crochets, 3 single crochets, and we end with 1 double crochet. So you'll start back over at the beginning of the repeat and keep working this set of stitches all the way down your row. We'll be back when you're ready for row number 8. Row 8 begins now. We're working in color B. Row 8's repeat begins by doing 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 10 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 1 double crochet, and we will end our repeat by doing 1 single crochet. So let's recap what we've done. Row number 8's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 10 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and we end with 1 single crochet. So you'll start back at the beginning of your repeat and keep working on down your row. Then we will be back when you're ready for row number 9. Row 9 begins now, and we are working in color A. Row 9's repeat begins by doing 2 single crochets, one and 2, 10 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and number 10. Now we will do 2 single crochets to end our repeat. 1 and number 2. So that ends our repeat for row 9. So let's recap. Row 9's repeat began with 2 single crochets, 10 double crochets, and it ends with 2 single crochets. So you guys know what to do. Keep working on down your row, and we'll be back when you're ready for row number 10. Row 10 begins now, and we're working in color B. Row 10's repeat begins with 1 double crochet, 12 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and number 12. And we'll do 1 double crochet in this next stitch to end our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row 10's repeat began with 1 double crochet, 12 single crochets, and we end with 1 double crochet. So keep working that set of stitches on down your row. Meet back up with me when you are ready for row number 11. Row 11 begins now. We're working in color A. Row 11's repeat begins with 2 single crochets, 1, and 2. Now we're going to do 10 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and number 10. Now we're going to end our repeat by doing 2 single crochets over those next 2 stitches. Here's number 1 and number 2. So let's recap what we're doing, or what we did. We're done, so let's recap. Row 11's repeat began with 2 single crochets, 10 double crochets, and it ends with 2 single crochets. So you guys know what to do. Meet back up with me when you're ready for row number 12. Row 12 begins now, and we are working in color B. Row 12's repeat begins by doing 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 10 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oops daisy, and number 10. 1 double crochet, and we will end our repeat with 1 single crochet. So let's recap what we've done. Row 12's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 10 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and we end with 1 single crochet. So we'll be back whenever you're ready for row number 13. Row 13 begins now, and we're working in color A. Row 13's repeat begins with 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and number 6. 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to end the repeat with 1 double crochet right here in this next stitch. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. We started row 13's repeat by doing 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 6 double crochets, 3 single crochets, and we end the repeat with 1 double crochet. So start back over with the double crochet, work that exact set of stitches all the way down your row. We'll be back for row 14 in just a moment. Row 14 begins now, and we are working in color B. Row 14's repeat begins with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, and we'll end the repeat by doing 1 single crochet here in the very next stitch. So now let's recap what we've done. Row 14's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 6 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet. So you're going to work that set of stitches over and over, and then we'll be back for row 15 whenever you're ready. Row 15 begins now, and we're working in color A. Row 15's repeat begins with 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and number 3. 2 double crochets, 1, and number 2. 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and number 3. 1 double crochet, and we'll end the repeat by doing 2 single crochets. 1 and number 2. So that ends our repeat. So let's recap what we've done. Row 15's repeat began with 2 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 2 double crochets, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and we end with 2 single crochets. So start back over at the beginning of the repeat, and we'll be back when you're ready for row number 16. Row 16 begins now, and we're working in color B. Row 16's repeat begins with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. 1 double crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet, and 1 single crochet to end our repeat. So that ends the repeat. Let's recap what we've done. Row 16's repeat began with 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, and we end with 1 single crochet. So you'll keep working that exact set of stitches all the way down your row, over and over, and then we'll be back for row number 17 in just a moment. Row 17 begins now, and we're working in color A. Row 17's repeat begins with 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and number 3. And then we'll end the repeat by doing 1 double crochet right here in that next stitch. So that ends our repeat. Let's recap. Row 17's repeat began with 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 4 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, and we end with 1 double crochet. So start back over at the beginning of the repeat and keep working all the way down your row. We'll be back for row 18 in just a moment. Row 18 begins now, and we are working in color B for this row. Before we work the repeat for row 18, I do want to point out that if you were going to move on to a different pattern and not keep working this design, you could actually stop at row 17 and then move on to a completely different pattern that you've chosen. If you're going to repeat this pattern for multiple repeats in a project, I don't know a better way to say that. If you're going to continue up to grow the project out and to fully expose the secondary design, then you need row 18. And that's why I'm going to teach it to you. When you finish row 18, if you were going to grow this out and continue with this pattern, you would go back to row 3 and repeat rows 3 through 18 over and over. And then you would be ending still the final time you do the pattern. I would still suggest that you stop at row 17 when you're done. That way it's going to look just like this down here when you end the pattern. Now we're going to move into row 18, and you're going to need this row if you're going to continue to work up. Our repeat for row 18 begins with 6 single crochets. There's number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, and number 6. 2 double crochets, 1, and number 2. And we will end our repeat with 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. So that ends the repeat for row 18. So let's recap real quick. Row 18's repeat, very, very simple. Your repeat begins with 6 single crochets, 2 double crochets, 6 single crochets. So you'll start back over with the 6 single crochets. Then I'll give you a total of 12 single crochets across this section. So you'll keep working in that manner, and I'll be back in just a moment to recap with you again how you will move up and continue to work. All right, so I finished out row 18. This is what it will look like when you're finished. And if you're going to move up and continue to work this exact pattern, you're going to rewind back to row 3, and you're going to work rows 3 through 18 over and over as many times as you would like. When you come to the end of your project and you're on your final repeat of the design, you will stop at row 17. That way, it's going to look just like this down here at the very beginning of your project. Where you began and where you end will match. And that is whether you're working flat or in the round. That's just how I recommend to end the pattern, is stop at 17. But while you're working it and growing it out so that you can see the secondary design that you saw at the beginning of the video where I showed that, you want that full effect of the design, because that's really what I've intended here. You're going to rewind and repeat at least one time rows 3 through 18, or 3 through 17 if you're moving on to something else. You guys get my drift, I'm sure. As always, I appreciate you so much for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, bye for now.